Yeah, Dustin's Vinyl. What's up? Welcome back, everybody. That's my main man, Mr. Anthony Kapfer, doing the theme song on the Acoustic today. Very cool. Very on brand. I like it.
Oh, yeah.
It's a nice guitar, man.
Thanks. This is a Gretsch.
Somebody give you that one?
No, this one was it's more expensive than most of my guitars usually are, but it's got a Bigsby Miami bar on an acoustic.
Wow.
Acoustic.
What'd you do? Break into Guitar Center? Like,
yeah. When they close at night, I was hiding in the bathroom.
That's genius. We should do that as an episode for ComedyHub. Jay would be like, no! We're just like trying to steal stuff out of the Guitar Center. Like, it's a sketch, man. It's a sketch. We'll give it back.
We're filming. It's a prank.
We'll give it back. It'd be hilarious to get away with it. We just do 2 to 3 years as far as sketch. That'd be great.
Can we do podcasts from prison?
I mean, I don't think maybe if you could do it on the phone, maybe you could have somebody visit you and then just kind of record it on the other end. You know?
Yeah.
Do that little blast.
A record player in the cell, though.
We don't play music anyway. What are you talking about? Oh, you mean to listen to
the albums?
I mean, you just have to go off of our vast knowledge of our past. And just hope that was enough. I'm sure there's like 8 records, and I mean, you said Shawshank Redemption. They had an album, right? They had that. He was playing opera. Remember that?
Oh, okay. I don't know if I've ever seen the whole thing all the way through.
Stop. I can't with you, dude. I can't with you. You call yourself a man, a real live man? Come on,
I've
dude.
never called myself that, to be fair.
That's true. We've never called you that. But you are a man. You're a real man. You like man stuff. I mean, not like that, but you know what I mean. It's a great movie. I'm going to bring in our next guy because I know he loves the movie. He seems like the kind of guy.
Yeah. I want to hear about it.
We'll bring in the other host because Jeff is, telling us he's busy, 15 times a day. And so he couldn't make this show, but he's available for the other show, which is, kind of fun. But we love Jeff, but this show wouldn't be anything without our music wizard, Mr. Adam Holtz, everybody. You like that? Music wizard?
Oh, yeah.
You like that?
Music
wizard. That's what I called you. It's like pinball wizard. Like you
That's what I was thinking right away.
Music with your eyes closed. That'd be good. You just know the band. You're like you're like a natural, like a human Shazam. That's what you That's why you're the music wizard. It's funny. Last week, Anthony was like, "Yeah, I try to get albums that you guys don't know," and I'd be like, "Yeah, Adam knows most of them." Yeah.
Well, I didn't know Anthony's last week though.
He didn't. Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, sometimes he'll stump, and then most of the time, Adam will come in Adam will be like, "Yeah, I'm going to see them Thursday," and he'll be
or he'll be like, "I saw them in college, and I got blackout drunk."
Right, exactly.
I met the band and hung out with them.
That's right. Adam's my ringer to keep Anthony in check. You got to keep him there. But he's not cooler than everybody. Just most of us. Good. We don't. Jeff's not here, which always feels like the substitute teachers in town, and we could be wild on the show. He'll be visiting us via video or something. I think. God, last week was brutal, man. He was just so funny. He was just like so complimentary of my album, but yet not complimentary of me.
He's like, you listen to all this.
Way to break the ground with this one, Dustin.
You listen to the same shit all the time.
Yeah. It's like, what is going on here? It was so funny. It's funny dude. Been crazy today. The in-laws are coming in. So just trying to get everything ready for that. I had to wash the car. Had to go.
You have to wash the car for them?
Yeah, wash the car. You don't do stuff like that for
No.
Have you met the parents of your wife?
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah.
Well, I mean, how'd that go? After you're married or before?
Well, I haven't met her dad actually because he lives in Hawaii, but
okay.
I met her mom and her stepdad and all that. We did a couple of holidays with them before.
Oh, okay. Did they like your rock and roll ways, or were they kind of like, this guy needs a haircut, or what kind of situation was that?
I mean, they didn't. I'm sure that if I were their kid, they'd be like, "When are you going to go back to school?" But they're nice about it to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's funny. My in-laws are, they're music heads and they're potters, they're artists. So it's like they're just, I mean, I pretty much scored on that one.
Yeah,
like they're like, oh, we know what it's like to be broke, So, so we exchange vinyl too. They buy me vinyl for Christmas. I buy them vinyl and stuff. So
that's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Nice.
It was just like Jeff though. He Leah's dad had a extensive vinyl collection, and then just like a lot of people did, man,
got rid of
late
it.
'80s. They kept all the CDs and got rid of so many vinyl. But
and now CDs are worthless.
Yep. Although making a comeback though.
They really. I hope they improve the jewel case technology. That was one thing. Every freaking CD had a broken jewel case. It was the worst. The only ones that were cool were the ones that were like card stock or whatever. They could fold it out. Like those were cool. But if like I think Pearl Jam had a really cool one with their Vitalogy album and stuff. You could get some cool ones, but then U2, I think Octung Baby had one. It flipped out, but most of them they would just break.
Yeah, they were pretty bad.
And I think that's what ruined. I think that's what ruined CDs was just that kind of stuff. They would just be broken all over your car. It's like you just have you couldn't find the cover. You'd always just have the thing that it snapped into. Like you always kept that, but you never had the top, and it was just like a fucking disaster. CDs were a disaster. It's like and I don't know. And then they acted like when they came out that they were unscratchable. They were just like that was everybody acted like, oh, this is so much better than the album, and it was. It is definitely a more durable, I guess item than an album, a vinyl album, but they were freaking. You scratched them all the time, and then it was like, and just hearing a CD like just skip is like it's brutal. It's like it's literally torture. It's like one of the worst sounds of all time is a CD skip. I don't know.
Yeah, it's worse than a record skipping.
Yeah, a record, it's like, and you could do something about, like, I guess you can clean the CD as well, but I don't know. It just feels a little less intrusive because it's not this like, because there's a verbrate or whatever. What's the word? Like verbrate? What's the word I'm looking for? Starts with the V. Verbrate.
I don't know.
Okay, you're the music guys. You're the
I
sound
never
guys.
Studied music.
Like verbrate. Well, what's the freaking?
Like
I'm almost
reverberate or
reverberate. Like
reverberate.
Like a CD is like because of the digital. It just it's like the audio is on top of the digital. I don't know. It's just a louder
sound. It sounds like
sound.
a Fatboy Slim song.
Yeah, exactly. Not a terrible band, but I can watch that video of.
Christopher Walken
dancing up the escalator.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
but when an album skips on the thing, usually when an album skips, I clean it with the stuff and it's fine. But anyway, always check your albums, guys. That's something that happens. I go digging with people and I'll see them just buy the albums and not look at the actual album, pull it out and everything. It's not a new one. So you gotta check for the scratches.
Gotta check, especially when you're buying from the dollar bin.
Is that where you buy yours?
Yeah, record. Well, I don't really buy CDs much anymore, but with records, I always check. You find
sometimes there's good stuff.
Gems.
Once in a while, there's good stuff. We talked last week about it. You just got to get one in a nice neighborhood, a Goodwill or Salvation Army in a nice neighborhood. You can get good stuff. Oh, and and I'm a big fan of the weight thing. The center weight, like that helps a lot of albums because sometimes the only reason it's skipping is because it's warped. And so it's hitting the thing and it's like skipping in one spot. But if you weight it down, then it kind of plays better or whatever. A lot of tips here, guys, here on vinyl, Dustin's Vinyl.
Tune in for more tips.
You got any tips? Hit us with questions today. We're doing a rare live show. Right. So if you have any questions about like where do you get good records, what's your favorite acoustic album, anything like that, let us know. We appreciate it. Did you get anything this week, Anthony? Would you been at the old record store?
I did. This should be cool.
Should be. But
Adam's
heard of it.
Right. Yeah, he's heard of it. I was back at the place in Echo Park.
Okay, that's fancy over there. You're living that fancy life in Los Angeles. Yeah.
So I was there looking at in the dollar section.
Dollar section. Okay.
And
You found your album?
My album?
Found your album?
I tried to give it to them. They wouldn't take it. They said, we don't have a 50-cent bin. So I grabbed, I have this record in New York, but I don't have it here. And I grabbed this Elvis Costello, the Sears model.
Is it the Attractions or is that this? Which one's that?
I think this is the Attractions.
Okay, cool.
Well, it just says Elvis Costello, but I think this is before. What was it? The Imposters?
Yes.
I think this is before. This is the second album. So, and it has some writing on it, which is not uncommon for discount records. And then I took it home and I was like, what does that say? I'm not sure exactly what it says. It looks like it says, no more tickets and praise, no more riches and praise, maybe. And then I look underneath it and I was like, wait a minute.
Is it signed?
Does that say Elvis Costello? So I Googled his signature and he writes his name a couple different ways, but I did find one online that looks pretty similar to that.
Wow.
So
that's awesome.
It could very well be a fake. Whoops, I didn't mean to do this little jump thing. It could.
Did your penis hit the symbol?
Yeah, I got real excited. So, it could be fake, but it also could be a real autograph from Elvis Costello.
Wow, very cool. Dude, I try to sell it anyway.
Yeah. The record's in good shape. It plays all the way through. Not really scratched up.
What a find! You get all the good finds. I may have to go over there with you.
Yeah, let's go next time.
I'm spending way too much money on albums.
Yeah, that was the big one. So I got a couple others, but that was the big one.
Yeah, well, you found the Rocky Horror over there too, right?
Yeah,
where you found
yeah.
And then what's the name of that record store? Do you know?
I forget what it's
plug
called.
The stores, but
I know. I'll next time. It's a record shop and coffee shop.
Record and coffee shop. Nice. I like that. I went to a bar one time somewhere on the road, and it was like all vinyl, and a lot of those were scratched because the bartender have a couple of shots and then try to put a vinyl record on. Yeah, trying to skip songs. Just anyway, funny. How about you, Adam? Did you get anything this week?
No,
Vinyl Addict.
No, you know what? I've been wanting to get to. There's a store by me. It's inside an old train station, and they have a lot of dollar bin deals and a lot of actually really good used records for $5. And I've been wanting to get there. Just didn't get a chance this week.
Cool. I think there's a vinyl, that thing I tried to cover last time, which would be way better if Anthony and I tried to cover it. The vinyl convention thing, as it usually comes about in the summer in LA. But I was with Steve Marshall, and I don't know, it didn't feel right. I kind of, I need one of you guys in order to really pull that off. I was all weird. I had no hat. I was like, hey, I'll do that. It was just, the whole thing was a disaster, but there was some cool records. I think I ended up getting some ZZ Top and Bob Marley and whatever. Cool. I didn't have random buys. We have random pools since I'm actually covering a Johnny Cash record today. So I figured I would pull some Johnny Cash. I have a lot of weird Johnny Cash ones. My girl's grandfather left a bunch of Johnny Cash records and stuff. And so I have some of that. This, I think, was one of them. Johnny Cash, Mean as Hell, Ballads from the True West. He did a lot of these kind of like Western albums that were just pretty much, about just, fighting at the old corral and, and just drinking whiskey and getting, hookers and, all that stuff that they did back in the West. So they're great, but he's dressed up like, he has the cowboy outfit on with the derby and everything. And he did a couple of Western movies. I have to figure out what the names of those are, but he did some Western movies. Johnny Cash's acting is probably some of the most awkward, amazing things you'll ever see. I mean, Elvis could kind of pull off a scene because he's handsome and charming and kind of like a Brad Pitt type. Yeah. But Johnny was not. And Johnny, every scene was just, intense, but at the same time, maybe he didn't need to be so intense. You know what I mean? Like he played one where he was like a priest, and like everybody was just afraid to go in the confessional booth. You know, he was just so intense. But it's like, you know, so but as a cowboy it fits. You know what I mean? As a Western dude, so he did a lot of Westerns. Like I don't know, him and actually Willie Nelson did a bunch. And it's just funny. If you get a chance, check out Willie Nelson and Johnny Cash Westerns, and you'll come up with some great stuff. Anyway, this is one of these albums that listened to a few times. I forget the songs on here. Mean as Hell is really good. The Streets of Laredo, which is a famous country song. If you saw Rocket Man, that was a big part of that meeting between Bernie and Elton, where they, I don't know, they bonded on that song. But Anthony, you haven't seen the movie, so you don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
I don't know what it is.
Right.
And there's another Johnny Cash album, and these are my favorites. When I was a kid, I guess Anthony probably, you were a little kid, but they had these Time Life records and Time Life video things that would come out, and CDs and all that stuff. And this is one of those Johnny Cash Time Life records. I probably got this for $1 somewhere.
Nice.
And it's got all the hits, you know. I think this is which number is this? Let's see, because I know they put them in order. This might just be the country music, and then Johnny Cash was one of them, so that's probably what it is. And that's what it is. So right here it says country music, and then they pretty much cover a bunch of people, Dolly Parton and, you know, Jim Reeves and Charlie Pride and all that. Anyway, this is Johnny Cash, and it's got Walk the Line, Folsom Prison, Ring of Fire, all the good stuff on it. Nice. Sunday Morning Coming Down, Boy Named Sue, all the classics. So this is a good one. So I have a lot of the Johnny Cash greatest hits stuff. But so that's, you know, that's that. I'll just go into the Johnny Cash album. You know, it's huge Johnny Cash fan. It's so hard not to tell that Johnny Cash joke, Anthony. But I hope for Johnny Cash impersonator. So because it is on theme, but I do love Johnny Cash. I feel Johnny Cash is somebody we can't talk about enough. Probably one of the coolest people ever to kind of enter music and basically changed genres of, you know, experimented a lot with country music and kind of made it a little more kind of mainstream for the rest of the country. Added kind of a rock and roll, kind of a punk rock, kind of dark vibe to country. So yeah, I mean, there's like, I'm wearing the shirt today. You got Waylon, Willie, Merle, Hank, and Johnny, which is pretty much the Mount Rushmore of music. And and Anthony has a dog named Merle. And so Johnny Cash was kind of one of these badass dudes that like you couldn't really hold down. You couldn't really tell him what, you know, box to be in. And he did a lot of experimental stuff. A lot of stuff that, you know, probably a lot of artists would be afraid to do, especially during that time. This is, you know, is a little more popular doing things like this now. But at the time, performing live at a prison was probably not the most acceptable thing. I think with this particular album, this is Johnny Cash at San Quentin. And the year of this is, I believe it's 1969. And so there's a lot of like, tension between, the country and a lot of crazy shit going on. And so to be inside a prison, probably not the best thing when you're kind of a famous person. But this album is great from top to bottom. What's so great about this album is the songs are great. Yeah, whatever. But the best part about this album is, and first of all, I know we're supposed to do acoustic. Some of this is plugged in, but it's still kind of stripped down. So that's kind of why I like this album. And Johnny's always on acoustic. And actually it has Carl Perkins, who's probably one of the best guitarists ever. And know him from he wrote Blue Suede Shoes and all that stuff. And so they actually recorded they played Blue Suede Shoes during this show, but they didn't put it on the album. So this is recorded live. June Carter's there. I believe the Statler brothers are there. Somebody not Statler, but who was there? Our Everly brothers, or some brothers are there.
The Statler brothers.
Statler brothers. Okay, the Statler brothers are there. And so, this is a very, very cool album. But what I was trying to say was the best part of this album, the music's great, but is Johnny just kind of being like, "Fuck you, prison"?
Yeah.
He's like he's so funny in this, and he wrote a song about San Quentin, which as a comic, it's like write about the town when you get there, And so Johnny writes a song about the prison when he gets there. And there's a really funny moment in there where it's a song called San Quentin, and he tells the one of the guards, "Go, hey, could you get my my journal, my red notebook? It's in my bag with the dope. I mean, it's in the like he just keeps kind of making jokes and stuff." And so Johnny throughout this whole thing is it's very uplifting, and kind of like these guys are in a bad spot, and Johnny kind of knows what it's like to kind of to connect with these guys, and and he has a funny story about he got arrested for picking flowers in Mississippi or something, and it's he's picking a daisy and a thing. Next thing you know, it's $36 and a night in jail, and he's like, "What if I'd picked an apple?" He's hilarious. He's got timing and everything. So this album is unbelievable. This is, and it's not even the only album that he recorded in prison. He Folsom Prison Blues, which is a famous one, and then also that Mississippi prison that he got in trouble over there. But this is great. It's got such great music on it. Let's see what I don't know if I don't have the song listings on. I can't believe I don't own this album. You ever you pick an album and then you're like, "Oh, I should get this album," and then and then I was like, Adam's album. I was like, "Oh, this is a great album. I'll buy it." And then I went to buy it, and it's $700. I was like, "Okay, I guess I won't own that album." But this has Ring of Fire, Folsom Prison on it. Probably one of the best not cover, but the best versions of Boy Named Sue. And this song was Album of the Year, got a Grammy. And Song of the Year was A Boy Named Sue. And that's one of the top songs, far as just folk and country and humorous songs that has ever existed. There's so much going on in the song. It's it's funny. It's storytelling, and the whole thing is just so much fun. It's one of my favorite Johnny Cash songs of all time. And so yeah, this is a great album. It's live, it's in prison, he's making references, it's got all the hits and stuff. June does a song with him as well. And yeah, this is great. It's definitely, I could see why one album of the year for just album of the year, not just country. So it's a big deal.
Wow.
And that's the thing with Johnny. It was he was such a crossover artist. And I feel like this is one of those albums that really proved that. And obviously, I don't think anybody was ever able to do what Johnny did towards the end of his career, where it's some of that work is just masterpiece work through Rick Rubin and stuff. And so I think people try, it's they get sick and they try. The David Bowie album, and, people try to do stuff, and, Glenn Campbell did some stuff, and but it's but Johnny's later work is amazing, and this is just this is kind of the reason that he's such a badass. And so Johnny Cash at San Quentin was my pick today. It's kind of the acoustic unplugged version. And so Anthony, what did you think about this old Johnny Cash album?
I liked it. I thought it was cool. I wasn't sure why he did the song San Quentin twice in a row.
I think he's working it out.
But yeah.
But seriously, I think he's just working it out for the album. And then they just put them both on there.
Yeah. So, but I like when he's dealing with hecklers, he's trying to tell a story before the song, and he's like, What'd you say? Sorry, I didn't hear you. I was talking.
Yeah, I love that. We're all going to steal that.
I just thought that was great. It's he definitely has moments in between songs where he feels sort of it's almost stand-up comedy. He's just an all-around entertainer, showman.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yet sedated, though, not over the top, really. A very kind of low-key,
Yeah, in his own kind of way, which that's kind of what I try to do.
Yeah,
is be control a room like that, but without having to use too much energy or whatever. But I thought it was great. The song with June was nice. Their voices sound nice together. It was cool. They mixed the crowd a little loud, but I guess that's I guess that's what you want.
I think they were pretty loud, man. I think they were. I think they were just like, this is something that had never been done before. I think they were fucking bananas. And I think it was like 1,000 of them. So it was like they were bananas. Yeah, I think they really were like, oh my God, this is because nobody did anything close to this. Now it's like you got comics doing shows, but nobody was doing that back then. So I think maybe they're loud, but I think they were pretty crazy for it.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, I think he's definitely, has those chops of being able to handle it. And that's the thing. I mean, talk about a rough crowd. It's like, out of all the crowds, it's like, most people that we mess with, aren't there to kill us. But, some of these guys are in for murder and they're just, into them. But yeah, I thought it was interesting. And I just really enjoy it. What about you, Adam?
Outside of, I think a greatest hits album, I don't really own any Johnny Cash. And so this was the first time I heard at San Quentin. And this is definitely one I want to go and get on vinyl. I mean, this is pure outlaw country right here.
Yeah, so good.
And like you guys said, Johnny Cash just oozes cool on this. Yeah. And like you said before, he's a badass on here. Yeah. And really it's, besides music, it's that banter that makes this album. And just his entire command of that audience. Starkville City Jail was a great song. The one about him getting arrested, picking the dandelions. Boy Named Sue is just tremendous on here. Wanted Man, I Walk the Line. And what I want to check out is when I went to go listen to it, I saw they have the Legacy Edition, which has, I think it's the full show. It's about an hour and 40 minutes. It has Carl Perkins, Statler Brothers, June Carter Cash, the Carter family all on it. So I think they have every single song on there from it.
I actually have it. It's on CD.
And it skips a lot.
I have the book. It's like a book. Yeah. Because I dated a girl one time. She worked for Capitol Records. And the running gag with me and Leah is I was on the borderline of breaking up with her and kind of hanging out. Leah and I were just friends and we were kind of hanging out. But I remember, I would get free music from this girl. And so I got like 4 of these Johnny Cash Legacy CD books. And I remember Leah said something about Johnny Cash. And so in the middle of dating this girl and getting to know Leah, I gave her one of the CD books from this girl. And then later on, Leah was like, I don't really like Johnny Cash. I was just into you. And I was like, what? It's kind of funny. But yeah, it's I do have it. It's like a 4-disc set, and then it's like the last disc is the whole concert. So it's really cool.
Nice.
But yeah, it's just anything like this is cool. It's a really cool live album, and it's like a glimpse in time, and you get to kind of feel the energy of what's happening, and and that's the thing is like, that was the thing about Johnny. I think the appeal is that even if you were considered, thrown away, Johnny still wanted to entertain you. He wanted the kind of, the people that were just not perfect and, made mistakes. And cause he made a lot during his life, So, he's always getting arrested for, painkillers in his guitar case and shit like that. So lighting National Forest on fire, I think I told you guys that, right? Where he accidentally lit like a California National Forest on fire. Like he did it. Like, it's like he had a cigarette or something and like he ran out of the forest. And it's like, it was like a crazy fire. And so Johnny burned down half of California once on a bender. People don't talk about that a lot, but Google it. It's a fun story. I think Johnny, and the thing is with Johnny, I think it's like as dark as he was, it was kind of, it was uplifting in a lot of ways because he was just like, even if you're down and dirty and whatever, it's like, you're something to me. It's funny that I actually picked a guy that didn't take his own life, and
oh yeah, you're the only one.
Don't want to joke about suicide. If you have a problem, please seek out people that can help you professionally. But it is kind of interesting though. You guys both picked some downer dudes, but yeah. So this will be fun. So we'll start with you, Adam.
All right. So I picked Chris Cornell's Songbook Live, his acoustic album from 2011. And this was right after Soundgarden. I think this was right after the Soundgarden reunion tour. So he basically toured just him and an acoustic guitar, and basically played a lot of his solo stuff. He played stuff, some of his Audio Slave songs, some songs from Temple of the Dog, some from Soundgarden, and then he had some covers also. And I actually got to see, I think it was this tour was the one I got to see. I got to see him play at the Wellmont in Montclair, and it was just absolutely powerful to see. And really, it should be called kind of like an intimate evening with Chris Cornell, because that was the feel of it. I mean, it's just, that's all you have there. It's just his voice and his guitar. And, really, like, this album showcases why he's one of the most distinctive voices of the 90s. And just how great a loss it is that, that he's gone now. But, this is such a powerful album. It mixes songs of, he plays songs of longing. He has songs of hope. He has songs of defiance on here. And he kind of also, like a lot of the artists you have on your shirt, Dustin, it would have been great to hear him cover some outlaw country, because songs like As Hope and Promise Fade just sounds like a outlaw country song. There's a lot of bluesy stuff on here. He does with the covers. He does "Thank You" by Zeppelin, and he does "Imagine," John Lennon's "Imagine," which he played in the concert that I saw him at. Really for some of the highlights here are "Temple of the Dogs," "Call Me a Dog." You had "Fell on Black Days" and "Black Hole Sun" on here. Actually, I think there was there might have been two versions of "Black Hole Sun" on here too, from two different shows.
Yeah.
There's Ground Zero, which was his song about 9/11, but also when you listen to him talk about it right before it, you could pretty much apply it to today. And the great Audio Slave, "I Am the Highway." There's also where is this one here? There's so many great songs on this. I actually owned this album, and unfortunately,
vinyl?
On vinyl, yeah. I bought it right when it came out. So when you said $700, that's pretty nice.
You have this album?
I do have it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's worth about $800, man. It's
wow.
It's hard.
Is
Hard
it out
to
of
get.
print?
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah, it's hard to get. It's just impossible to get. There's like two. I found one for 200, and God knows what shape it's in, but it's like from Europe. God knows if you'll get it. And then basically there was just one left at like 700 or whatever.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. Because it's just hard to get. Everything's out. You can get it on CD. Good job getting that. Wow.
Yeah, I picked that up. I think it was right when it came out too. And
that's fantastic.
Yeah, but this was an incredible tour to see, and just such a huge loss. I mean, him, when you think of the distinctive voices of the 90s, you really, it's him, Kurt Cobain, Lane Stanley. There's not, all those guys are gone. You have Eddie Vedder still, you have Tom York. You don't really have too many of the distinctive voices.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Scott Weiland's gone.
Scott Weiland's gone too. Yeah,
still got Rivers Cuomo.
Right. But
it was such a good album, and it's funny that you said the country thing, because when I was listening to it, I was thinking the Chris Stapleton has kind of a Cornell sound. Like his country music, like the way he kind of does his kind of outlaw singing, it's very, very much kind of this kind of music, like sound. Yeah. And so I got a lot from, that's what I was thinking the whole time. I was like, oh man, he's influenced by this guy a lot, probably more than most of the country guys. So, because I felt that, and that's what makes somebody like that such a, that music so cool, that country music, because it's like, it comes from a little bit of this rock angst. But I enjoyed his banter on this as well. And it is very kind of angst ridden and kind of punk rock, and kind of not as, like funny as Johnny Cash, but he had some good moments, and he's just kind of going off and then kind of, feeling it as he's saying it, like the 9/11 song and things, just kind of getting into it. And that's what I think is so great about these live albums like this, these intimate live albums, because you do get that cool kind of perspective off of the artist and how they're feeling about the music they wrote and they're performing. And so it's like, I love those little moments. That's the best part about this. But this album is phenomenal. If I ever get it, I might try to buy it for $2, but it's like, it's such a good album. I really enjoyed it. And this is like, and I'm still playing back up, because I missed a lot of the 90s through my cult religious phase. And so a lot of this music was popular and I had to kind of go backwards, and get into it later in life, because I had moved on after it was kind of, it didn't die out really, but it got, other things were happening in rock, like, Linkin Park and all that stuff. And so it was changing. A lot of the grunge stuff was changing into other things. But, so it wasn't, as prominent as it was, during this time. But this guy's voice is phenomenal. His Purple Rain is the most amazing thing I've ever heard in my life.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
I haven't heard his Purple Rain.
Oh, it'll move you, man. It's so good.
Plus, also check out. I think you guys already heard his version of "Nothing Compares to You," and also his version of "Patience."
Maybe that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. Nothing compares to you. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, nothing compares to you. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. Chris Stapleton actually did Purple Rain, but the "Nothing Compares to You" that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, it's so good. Yeah, such a good cover. But yeah, it's like, it's unfortunate, and that's the thing. It's like with these kind of guys, it's like, it's like, I was listening to the Nirvana thing today too. It's just like, I mean, it's you when you hear it now, you see it and you feel it, and you hear it in the music, you hear it in the lyrics, you hear it in the voice, you just the pain. This is that pain. It's like pain rock, where you just like, I don't know if that was ever a genre, but pain rock. I think seriously, that's what it is. That is what it should be called, pain rock, because you feel it in your bones. And it's like, it's like you just want to hug these guys, But yeah, it was really good. Anthony, you seem like you're a fan.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I mean, his voice is great. I knew that was going to be the case going into it.
Yeah.
I like that it's a selection of like his entire career. There's some Soundgarden, there's some Audio Slave, there's some solo stuff. I really like that he's by himself. I think it's the only album that any of us picked that's acoustic, but also solo.
Yeah.
And I like that. I think it kind of adds to the moodiness. And, so I think my favorite moment is I really love the version of Fell on Black Days that's on here. I've never heard it performed like that. I've only just heard the Soundgarden version. So I think it's great. I kind of wish that it was one full show instead of like having the audience fade out every time the song ended and then come back. But that's a nitpicky kind of thing.
That said, that Stone Temple Pilots Unplugged was like that. It's stuff.
Really?
Some of it fades out, and you can tell maybe it was an alternate night or something.
Yeah. That stuff like that with every kind of live album, it kind of bugs me. But I do appreciate that they don't edit it to sound like a full show.
Well, the only way of getting a good album live is bootleg.
Yeah, right.
That's the only way you're going to get it where nobody got involved. Yeah.
But that always that's just a weird thing that I have when I listen to live albums. It just...
You want to listen to it like you're actually there.
Yeah, like I don't want to be taken out of the moment. There's some albums
like that. There's quite a few actually, where they just kind of, it streams all the way. You just feel like your next song, you're at the concert. Yeah, I like that too.
But it's great. I mean, all these performances are just great.
Yeah, I think he's like probably, I mean, I don't like to do top fives, but he's definitely a top rock singer,
Oh yeah.
Just something about that voice is like, it's just, unmatched. I think.
Might be Freddie Mercury and then Chris Cornell.
Definitely in the top for sure. I mean, top 10 or top whatever. But yeah, I think there's some other Roy Orbison. Like there's a lot of contenders, just people that have amazing voices. But even Elvis had a great voice. But this guy was, definitely taking you through his pain and kind of making art out of it. I just wish he was here, man.
Yeah.
Which so then our next artist, what we'll do is we'll do Anthony's, and then we'll do Jeff's videos at the end.
Right.
So we'll just
okay.
I just one more thing about Chris Cornell. I just pulled up the set list from the show that I went to. So he did 27 songs. He covered 2 Springsteen songs, State Trooper, and he ended with Atlantic City. Also, he also
Anthony.
did 2 other covers.
Good. What are the 2 other covers? I'll tame Anthony. Don't worry. Go ahead.
They're pretty interesting.
Did you do any Mellencamp?
I'm an Anthony Whisperer.
No.
Go ahead. What do you got? I got him.
So he did Freebird, and he did Billie Jean also.
Wow. Freebird and Billie Jean. Here's the thing, Anthony. A guy like that can make those Springsteen songs sound amazing. You can't. Nobody ever said, even Anthony. I would slap Anthony if he said Springsteen wasn't a good songwriter. Like, we're just not into the Born USA and all that shit. It's like, but yeah, he's a great songwriter, dude. That guy's like, I mean, it's up there with Dylan and all those guys. It's just. I get it. I get why you're not into it.
And also, when you come to New Jersey, you almost always have to cover Springsteen. I just saw Nathaniel Rateliff a month ago. Yeah, and he did Atlantic City also.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, it's respect.
Yeah.
It's like you got it. Like whenever, I don't know. Whenever I play the Bronx, I do one of Anthony's jokes. You know what I mean? Because he's in there. And so,
and they're like, "Who's this guy?"
I'll be red-handed. What?
We don't even.
No, they know Anthony. They know you made an impact. Let's Anthony. What do you got, buddy?
Yeah. Let me. But before I talk about the album, I found the name of the record store.
Nobody cares now. What is it? No.
It's called Cosmic Vinyl.
Cosmic Vinyl. If you're out there in Los Angeles in the Silver Creek, is that what it's called?
Echo Park. It's on Sunset. It's on Sunset.
Echo Park, Sunset. We got to start hitting some record stores and doing some videos.
Yeah.
Check it out. Get the live vinyl, guys. Go ahead.
What? Oh no! What did you say?
Sometimes it's easier to order online, but it's also more rewarding.
It's
to
so
actually
fun.
Go into a record store and find the records and dig and all that stuff. So
I just get more excited about going to a store and coming home with the thing. When I'm like, oh, you know what I want today? I want a record. And then I have it that day. Yeah. It's not like, it'll be here. And I got the 2-day shipping. So it'll be, I get excited to just go out and get something.
Yeah. And then it's the unknown. You don't know what you're coming back with. It's fun.
Could be an autographed Elvis Costello record.
That's hilarious.
Could just be some guy wrote Elvis Costello's name on it. Nobody knows.
Well, that's the thing is I was in a record store in Corpus and it was like, it's funny because there was like all these Beatle albums and they were like all the good ones, White Album, all the stuff. And, I don't have the White Album. I don't have a couple. Yeah. I have that one. And I don't have that one, but I probably have like 6 Beatles albums. Yeah. And the thing was, some guy named Roy wrote in freaking Sharpie on the front, like thick, like Roy's music, all of them. And I was like, and when you own a Beatles album, it's like you kind of want it clean,
Yeah.
It's like it's kind of like I almost bought it because it was like $8 for a really good copy of like these, White Album and stuff. But then it's like every time I grab it, I'm going to think of Roy, who the fuck Roy is. So I don't want to think of Roy when I grab one of the greatest albums of all time. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's funny when people write stuff, but God damn it, Roy. That's amazing though. If that's like a real autograph.
I know.
I love that.
I don't know if there's any way to. and somebody saw this and they're like, throw it in the dollar bin. Like it's not even in bad shape. It
looks like it's in pen, so it's not very prevalent, right? Like
it's in pen. I thought it was one of those. I just grabbed it. I was like, my first instinct was just to look and see if it's all scratched up.
Sure.
So I grabbed it. I was like, oh, it's in good shape, and then I threw it with the rest. I was excited about the. I had the Beatles one here. I got it the same day. The Beatles ones are all beat up, and they're American versions, so they're missing some songs. but I didn't even notice. I got home and I was like, what does it say? Because I just assumed it was that thing where it's like, Roy, this is my record. My roommates can't touch this one. Right. And then I looked at it because you can't even really read it. I don't even know what it says.
It's like a little kid's thing when you write on your albums like that.
Yeah.
This is mine. Yep. Nobody take it.
Yeah. My little brother always scratches up my Elvis Costello records.
Like you write your name in your underwear and your Elvis Costello records.
Yeah.
That's where you write your name.
All right. So my album my acoustic album that I picked was Nirvana Unplugged in New York, which I think it was the best Unplugged that anybody ever did.
Yeah. Alice in Chains is pretty good, but this one is
Alice in Chains is good. Yeah, I like them. Theirs too. But so this was filmed in November 93, I believe, just a few months before Kurt Cobain died. And I think even I was reading that the set design that was all kind of suggested by Kurt Cobain, having like the candles and the lilies and the chandelier. And he was telling one of the producers for MTV, and they're like, "What, you mean like a funeral?" And he's like, "Yep. Yeah, that's what I want. Make it like a funeral." And I just love the whole approach that they took, which is because like Pearl Jam did one and a few bands did them where they're playing acoustic guitars, but the drummer's hitting hard and they're just kind of rocking out on the acoustic guitars like it's a regular show.
Yeah, Temple was like that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I like that Nirvana did not take that approach. It's like very stripped down versions of the songs. It has a different kind of mood. It's like intentional. They're trying to create something different from their normal concerts. And so that's one of the main things that I love about it. And it's really cool that they didn't do some of their big hits. Like they didn't try to do Smells Like Teen Spirit acoustic. They picked songs that worked acoustic, not just whatever MTV was hoping they would do. So they do some kind of deep cuts. They do some covers. They do a Vaseline's song. They do 3 songs with the guys from the Meat Puppets, and they do a David Bowie cover, Man Who Sold the World, and then they do Lead Belly, Where Did You Sleep Last Night? And I was reading that they refused to do an encore. The audience wanted an encore, MTV wanted an encore, and they didn't think they could top the Lead Belly cover. So I think it's cool. They came in, they did what they wanted to do. They're the biggest band in the world at that point. So they came in, they did the MTV Unplugged their way. And I think it's great. I was even, the cool thing, I didn't realize until I was just kind of re-reviewing this again today. I was checking it out on Apple Music. Apple Music has it as a video album. Yep. So you can watch the whole thing. And it's the unedited.
That's how I saw it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if I've ever really seen the unedited all the way through. So it was kind of cool to see it that way. Because I had the CD and I watched it the way that it aired on MTV when it was new. But yeah, I mean, Nirvana is like the reason that I wanted to become a musician. So everything that they did, like this thing, this Unplugged, and that New Year's Eve concert that they the Live and Loud, like that, those were all like the moments where I was like 9 years old going, man, I want to be these guys. Yeah. So that's my pick. Nirvana Unplugged.
Yeah, this is it's definitely, I would love to own this one as well. They've done a nice re-release, pretty easy to get. It's not like it's $9,000 like the Chris Cornell. I'm gonna rob Adam's house.
Right.
He's like the mask on, but I'll have the hat. But I'll have a mask, like a ski mask. But yeah, this is again just very heart wrenching stuff, and that's interesting about the funeral design. It's like it just goes morbid.
Oh, you cut out again. I don't know what happened to your mic.
I don't know why it's cutting out.
No, it's back.
Yeah. You guys are cutting out too. I think we're just cutting out.
Oh,
but
right.
it's just one of those great albums, that's in a great moment in time,
Yeah.
And,
and I was reading this that they, unlike a lot of Unplugged, they did the whole filming straight through. So they didn't do take, let's do that one again, and then they have two versions.
Cool. Yeah, well, it's cool. The unedited is pretty cool because there's like sound problems and like check, and then he's like talking to a guy. So all that stuff is very interesting to me. I always love that kind of extra stuff. And they had some of that stuff on the Johnny Cash album where he's like tuning his guitar and stuff.
I just he was like, it's out of tune, I think. And he's like, it is out of tune.
It's so like all those elements when you leave those in, I really like that. Like it adds to it. But this is great. I mean, it's rough, man. It's like this band's rough, knowing now after he died, which has been, a long time, over 20 years,
Yeah.
And it's 30 years. How long has it been?
Almost 30 years.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's
94.
Crazy. That's crazy. Oh, and it's just, it's funny. I was listening to it in the car and I was just like, it's like getting a little depressed. I was like, I gotta listen to the Monkees after this. Right. This is like some of the best songs ever written, but I'm like, I got get some dance music or some Samantha Fox, something. Get me going. Like, this is too much. But yeah, it's great music. It's definitely, it's kind of, just it's what was happening of that generation. What's great about this is like, I felt like it related to like teenagers who were going through all this angst, and then it was going through all these Gen Xers that didn't know what the fuck they were going to do with their lives from their late 20s and early 30s. And so I feel like it really hit a lot of people in different ways. Like it impacted generations beyond generations, not just like, the teeny boppers, like it was everybody. And so I think this is, definitely, a band that kind of touched all of us, in a lot of ways. So anyway, Adam, what'd you think?
I would probably put this album as one of the most influential albums on me during high school. And I mean, I listened to this. I think it came out my junior year. I would listen to this nonstop. And I mean, this was also the album that kind of introduced me to the Meat Puppets. I hadn't really heard them before, and I love the covers of their songs on here. Plateau. Lake of Fire. Yeah. Such fantastic songs. Also, I think this really opened my eyes also to David Bowie with the Man Who Sold the World cover on here. Because before that, I only knew Bowie as, touring with Nine Inch Nails for doing I'm Afraid of Americans. And then that just tremendously awful Dancing the Streets with Mick Jagger.
Love it. But it's the greatest.
But yeah, this was such a powerful album, and just like you said, like listen to it again. It brings a lot of memories back. It's also a downer of an album, just like Chris Cornell's one too. I mean, there were moments where I just sit in my car.
To back with these two. I was like, dude, my therapist is out of town. I was like, my God, I'm like just crushing St. John's Wort, just trying to stay up.
Right.
Yeah, it's fucking killing me.
Sitting in the car, like I don't think I can get out of the car now.
No, I'm gonna go off a cliff.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I mean, and then also, all apologies on here is I think this is a better version on here than on In Utero, and In Utero,
wow.
In Utero, I think is their best album too. And
too.
I love the acoustic version on this one.
Yeah,
it's a good rendition.
It's haunting. Yeah. It's so good.
Yeah,
it's really good. All right, very cool. Do we have time for a few Jeffs, or how are we doing on time? Do a few videos of Jeff, I guess. We'll just, I guess we can go backwards. Whatever you got. You want to do the Nirvana one?
All right. We were 4 for 4 this week. every album was great. Every album was great. And let's end with Anthony's, because you know what, Anthony? You picked a classic. I loved MTV's Unplugged series. I thought it was great. I thought the two best MTV Unplugged I ever saw was REM and the album that you picked, Nirvana MTV Unplugged. I listened to the 25th anniversary edition of this. I always loved this one too. One interesting note, I don't know if you brought it up on the show, but Pat Smears is on stage and he plays in this. He later becomes a touring musician with Nirvana. You guys know him from Foo Fighters. But this is great, man. I mean, if you saw it, I remember watching this so many times. The thing that always stands out to me is the iconic green sweater that Kurt's wearing during the performance. It's really cool. And also, when you look back at it now, how young Dave Grohl looks. But Kurt's voice is great. I mean, from the opening song with About a Girl and then into Come As You Are, two like Nirvana classics, it just sounds so good and so crisp and so raw, much like the Chris Cornell album. Sometimes you think, man, could a cover surpass the original? And on The Man Who Sold the World, this, it's a cover of Bowie, and this could be better than the original. It's so good, and so, again, it's such a connection that they have doing this song. Like, just listening to this album is just it's such an easy listen because it's so good and has such a nice flow to it. You just like wish, man, like Kurt was only 27 years old when he killed himself, and you're like, how could they have been this good, this talented at such young of age? It's a crime. I love Dumb. They added the cello in that, and it just plays so beautifully. Kurt's rasp on Lake of Fire, which might be my favorite song on the album, and that bluesy riff, which just sounds so cool. I wish I was there live to talk to you about this, Anthony, because it's such a good one. All Apologies, which seems to be like the song that always gets a lot of airplay when you watch maybe MTV Classics or listen to classic radio. They'll play that from the live album. But, I mean, you did no wrong. This is a great album. This was a no-brainer. Awesome.
No-brainer. I don't like it when Jeff is nice. It's just I don't like it.
To make fun
I don't like it at all. And he goes on. Yeah, we got to give him he keeps going. I'm like, all right, dude. You got to say something insulting to get the show going.
Insult me a little bit.
Yeah.
I like that he said that he thinks that the Bowie cover is better, because I'm not. I heard this version first because I was just a kid.
Yeah, same here.
So to me, I don't think I could give I think it's better too, but I heard that version first. So I'm always going to lean more towards that. So I'm glad that he said that too.
There's a lot of covers that are better, Trent Reznor pretty much said that Johnny Cash, like that's your song now.
That's his
like
song,
that's your song. Like that's, so it's like, and it's more powerful, the Johnny Cash version. So it's like, I think it's okay to say that. I think a lot of, there's a lot of, a lot of bands like made it who they are because their cover was so good,
Alien Ant Farm,
right?
Yeah. Pretty much all of Joan Jett's music.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Damn, those are so good though.
Like 8 songs. They're like, all covers that kind of, got her where she was. So yeah, I think it's okay to do that. I don't think it's a disrespect to the artist, is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But all right, so we'll just end there. I think we'll just we didn't have time to do all the videos, and we didn't even cover Jeff's album. That's what you get for not showing up.
Second week in a row. Fuck you, Jeff.
So yeah, get you some stripped down music, everybody. Get the acoustic versions of music when you can, because it's great to listen to it when you have both. What are you playing? You doing something acoustic for us? What are you doing, Anthony?
Oh, I was just gonna play the little riff again. But
like you're gonna break into Sunday morning or something. Just like some acoustic version. Barbara Streisand. I don't know what you're doing over there. So thanks for listening, guys, and watching. Check out our YouTube page. We need the followers. We love you. And support record stores across the country. It's great to listen to vinyl and meet the record store owners. And those people are always great people. So it's like very, it's like when you're into music, it's like the best. That's why I always go to record stores. I'm on the road because you're going to meet interesting people in there. So yeah, thank you, everybody. And play us out, Anthony. What do you got? I like it. That whammy. Like the acoustic version. It's more depressing, just like the theme of the show.
Right.
Bye. Yay.